Hello and welcome. We're diving into one of the most incredible shifts in the history of life, the move from water to land. And at its heart, this was a battle against gravity, a battle that completely reshaped our anatomy and our neurology. So, this is video 3 of the series, and today we're tackling the huge challenges our distant ancestors faced. I mean, just imagine it. You're leaving a world where you're weightless, totally supported by water, for a world where gravity is this constant crushing force. How on earth did life adapt to that? Let's think about this with one big question in mind. What happens when your main way of sensing motion just disappears? Because that's exactly the problem the first land dwellers ran into, and it demanded a pretty radical solution from evolution. And we're not talking about a small problem here. This was a full-blown sensory crisis. Moving from the ocean to the shore was probably one of the toughest challenges life has ever faced, and it forced a complete rewrite of the rules for how to sense the world. See, in the water, fish have this incredible tool called the lateral line system. It's this amazing network of sensors that can feel pressure changes and water movement all around them. It works right alongside the vestibular system in the inner ear, giving them this amazing spatial awareness. It's kind of like having a 360-degree sense of touch for the water itself. But the second those creatures crawled onto land, boom, that entire system went offline, instantly. The water it was designed to sense was just gone. That feeling of the world pressing in on them, what we call exteroception, just vanished. And that's exactly why the source material calls this a true sensory crisis. Without the buoyancy of water, gravity became this huge, relentless new factor. And with the lateral line system gone, the entire job of sensing motion and staying upright fell squarely on the shoulders of the vestibular system. So how did life even begin to solve this problem? Well, the answer starts with a major change in anatomy, the evolution of a mobile neck. This is the absolute key. Look at the difference in body plan. In a fish, the head and the body are one rigid piece because their shoulder assembly, the pectoral girdle, is fused right to the skull. But in the first tetrapods, something amazing happens. That girdle separates from the skull, and that simple separation created something new, a mobile head, a neck. This was a total game changer for scanning for predators or finding food on land. But a mobile head creates a whole new problem, instability, right? How do you keep your eyes and your balance sensors level when your head can now flop all over the place? The solution wasn't just anatomical, it had to be neurological. It basically needed a whole new piece of software. And that new software is the vestibulo-collic reflex, the VCR. The best way to think about it is like a biological stabilization rig, like a camera gimbal. When the body moves or tilts, the VCR kicks in automatically. It tells the neck muscles to counter-rotate the head, which keeps the visual horizon, and most importantly, the vestibular sensors themselves, perfectly level. And this reflex runs on some very specific neural hardware, the medial vestibulospinal tract, or MVST. What's so cool about this is that while fish have a simple version of this pathway, it becomes massively expanded in land animals. It's like the neuroanatomical smoking gun. It's clear proof of just how vital stabilizing the head on land really was. But the story doesn't stop with just getting stable. The New World on land also offered brand new opportunities. And if you look at amphibians as this kind of evolutionary bridge between water and land, you see some of the most incredible innovations pop up. Amphibians are really fascinating because they sit at this critical junction point in the evolution of the inner ear. Their anatomy has bits and pieces from their fishy ancestors, and also hints of what's to come in their terrestrial descendants, plus some really unique tricks of their own. And here is one of the most brilliant examples of what we call evolutionary repurposing. Amphibians developed a totally new sense organ, the papilla amphibiorum. Now get this. This organ is specialized for detecting low-frequency airborne sound. But the incredible part is that it actually evolved from a vestibular sensor. Life literally took a piece of the balance system and tweaked it into a primitive ear for a world that was suddenly full of sound traveling through the air. Just amazing. Okay, so let's bring this all back. What are the big clinical takeaways from this incredible evolutionary story? How does all this ancient history actually matter for what we do today? Well, it really comes down to 3 things. First, when that lateral line system went dark, the sensory burden shifted completely onto the vestibular system. It had to do all the work. Second, developing a mobile neck wasn't just a nice feature, it was an absolute anatomical requirement for life on land. And third, the VCR and its neural pathway, the MVST, had to evolve right alongside it as the critical software to make that mobile neck stable in a high-gravity world. The anatomy and the neurology had to evolve in perfect lockstep. From the ground, some lineages took to the sky. In Video 4, Flight and Speed, we look at the high-performance systems of birds and the synaptic upgrades of mammals. Thank you for listening to this series. To explore more similar topics regarding dizziness, vertigo, and imbalance, and to get clinician and patient resource materials, visit AustralianDizzinessClinics.com. Please subscribe and leave a rating.